You know what, brothers? I have some days where I'm really positive. Everything is great. I look at that Chad face in the mirror, I say, hey, it's not bad, dude. On other days, I hate the world. I seethe, I percolate my rage like an evil coffee machine. Today is not one of those days because there are some sweet artifacts in Assassin's Creed. And that's what we're here to talk about today. It's an artifact-heavy set. And we're going to start with some of the reprints, but first, slap that like button, dude. It deserves a little slap and tickle, buddy, but not too hard, Subscribe to the channel, get in the Discord, fresh invite below, and we're going to induct you into the cult of the hyena. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to stick to artifacts. I'm not going into the rest of the cards in this set. Now, right off the rip, I gotta mention some of these reprints here. We got the Sword of Feast and Famine out there, 3 generic mana, artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+2, has protection from black and from green. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card. You untap all lands you control, has equipped for 2. This card made me abandon equipment decks in 2013, man, because they were so expensive back then. It's a big time expensive archetype to get into. Remains at $20 at this very moment. It's a gorgeous card. There's an albino alligator in the background for some reason. I don't know why. Beautiful. And then the Sword of Light and Shadow. 3 generic mana, artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+2, has protection from white and from black. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you gain 3 life, and you may return up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Has equipped for 2. Nice reprint, man. Got this bad boy down below $8 at this very moment if you want one. Honestly, I think these 2 reprints are there to move these stupid little mini packs. I think the mini packs are there to bamboozle us, dude. And if there's one thing I hate, it's a bamboozle. And it's Assassin's Creed, so we gotta have the Hidden Blade. 2 generic mana, artifact equipment, has flash. When this thing enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. If that creature is an assassin, it gains death touch until end of turn. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 and has first strike, has equipped for 2. I like this thing, man, though it's a little emo to hide a knife right next to your carpal nerve, dude. It's a B- of a card, but gets a big bonus for the flash and surprise first strike. In an equipment deck, it's a nice little surprise, man. And then next up, we have Haste Stack, 1 and a white for an artifact, 2 and tap, target creature you control phases out. This isn't an equipment, but I love phasing in so many decks, man. Although it is a white-centered mechanic, and I like the fact that this requires a little bit of white. The cool thing about this is auras and equipment phase out too. You can protect your commander if you got a big old Voltron commander out there. Overall, this is a really neat protection piece. I think this is a B+. And then the Brotherhood Regalia, 2 generic mana, artifact equipment. Equipped creature has Ward 2, is an assassin addition to its other types, and can't be blocked. Has equipped legendary creature for 1, equipped for 3. This is pretty nuts, man. Remember the emo kids would wear the Assassin's Creed hoods around the town to the dance clubs and stuff, You'd be like, oh, do they have a hidden blade? I don't know. This is a good card. A little sideways upgrade to Whisper Silk Cloak. A is a card, man. F for the floppy hood. Next up, we have Excalibur, Sword of Eden. 12 generic mana for a legendary artifact equipment. Spell costs X less to cast, where X is the total mana value of historic permanents you control. Equipped creature gets +10/+0 and has vigilance. Equip legendary creature for 2. Looks like you can only equip a legendary creature, which is kind of weird. This is nuts, man. Knockout blow for some commanders. They're bringing back the historic mechanic, which I love. In the right decks, this is a huge buff. A+ card as a build around. Look at this damn thing, the Caduceus Staff of Hermes. 2 and a white for a legendary artifact equipment. Good thing it's not the Staff of Herpes, dude. Equipped creature has lifelink. As long as you have 30 or more life, equipped creature gets +5/+5, has indestructible, and prevent all damage that will be dealt to this creature. Has equipped for white. A Caduceus is a symbol of healing, or healers, doctors and stuff. Why is it a serpent with wings and wrapped around a staff? I don't know, man. This is a little busted in commander. Can be great if built around. Dope card, dope flavor, B+. The Spear of Leonidas. 2 and a red for a legendary artifact equipment. When an equipped creature attacks, choose 1. You get the Bull Rush out there, gains double strike. You get the Summon. You create Phobos, a little 3/2 red horse legendary creature token. Or you have a Revelation. Discard 2 cards and draw 2 cards, as equipped for 2. This is from the movie 300, dude. I used to work with a lady with all these kinds of piercings in her ears and nose and lips. We used to call her Xerxes. Anyways, neat little can opener of a card. The double strike would probably be the most relevant. Neat art on this thing, man. I like it. I rate this a C. Now check this guy out, the Crystal Skull Isu Spyglass. 2 blue legendary artifact. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. you may play historic lands and cast historic spells from the top of your library. And has tap to add blue. Little card advantage engine. It's got to be in the right deck, man, because this only affects historic permanents. Little top deck manipulation setting. This looks like old Nicky G, man, just a shiny skull. This card is not bad. I would say probably a C. It's too expensive at 4 mana. How about the old smoke bomb here? 3 generic mana, artifact, has flash. All creatures have shroud. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice smoke bomb. When you do, target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. This is an interesting little artifact, especially in decks that are recurring artifacts out of the graveyard, because it sacrifices itself. It's kind of neat, I guess. Also a C. And then we have Assassin Gauntlet, 2 and a blue, artifact equipment. When it enters the battlefield, attach it to up to 1 target creature you control. Tap all creatures target opponent controls. Equipped creature gets +1/+1, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, discard a card. As equipped for 2. This is okay, man. There's a lot of utility here, and it cheats its own equip cost. Kind of cool in certain decks. C-. Here we go, buddy. If there's one thing I love, it's a hammer. You got Mjolnir, the Storm Hammer. I don't know, dude. I don't speak Swedish. 4 generic mana, legendary artifact equipment. When Mjolnir enters the battlefield, attach it to target legendary creature you control. Whenever equipped creature attacks, tap target creature defending player controls, put a stun counter on it. You're stunning this thing with a hammer blow to the head. Then this thing deals damage equal to the number of tapped creatures that opponent controls to each opponent. Has equipped for 4. I'm going to rate this an A, man, even though it's not super good, because it's the hammer of Thor, buddy. The flavor will not be denied. I wish this gave a power buff. Otherwise, it's kind of relegated to certain decks. Oh, I like this, buddy. The Phantom Blade, 4 and a black, artifact equipment. When it enters the battlefield, attach it to up to 1 target creature you control. Destroy up to 1 other target creature. Equipped creature gets +1/+1, has menace, has equipped for 2. I like this, man. In theme decks, equipment decks especially, you want cards that fit your theme while having added utility. This is removal on an equipment. I wish it had flash. This will be a budget equipment banger. It's a B+. Head Splitter, very interesting card. 1 and a red for an artifact equipment. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 black assassin creature token with menace. Then attach Head Splitter to it. Equipped creature gets +1/+0, has equipped for 2. This is notable for decks that want to make those little tokens that feed off modified or equipped creatures. Decks that want living weapon or 4 Mirrodin creatures. It's a neat little card in those decks with sweet art. And last but certainly not least, the Staff of Eden Vault's Key. 6 for a legendary artifact. When it enters the battlefield, put target legendary permanent, not named Staff of Eden Vault's Key, from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Has tap, draw a card for each permanent you control but don't own. Lastly here, the Staff of Eden, dude. Really cool card for your theft decks. Can be tapped the turn it comes down to get a fresh grip of cards. I like this for extremely specific decks that reliably use your opponent's cards against them, and in that vein, I give it a B, in those decks only. It's so niche, and it's so pricey at 6 mana. And that's it, man. Listen, I'm not going to go over every artifact, 'cause there's a couple little filler ones in there, which is really surprising considering the fact that this is a premium set that they're charging, exorbitant amounts of money for the little tiny packs of 7 cards, man. But, what are you going to do? Will any of these cards make it into your decks? Probably the only one that I'm thinking about is the Brotherhood Regalia. I think that card's really good. Let me know in the comments below, and as always, be kind and rewind, and if you know what that means, buy a coffin, dude, because you're old. Nicky G, Better Commander, signing off.